The communications array crackled to life, casting the command bunker in an eerie blue glow. Captain Maya Torres stood before the holographic projection, her combat armor scorched and dented from 3 days of relentless fighting. The image that materialized before her was imposing. General Zalthor of the Kryn Dominion, his 4 eyes gleaming with what he surely believed was inevitable victory. "Human Commander," his translator rendered his clicking speech into cold mechanical English. "Your position is surrounded. Your forces are depleted. Your orbital support has been destroyed. I offer you one final opportunity. Surrender now, and your species will be granted the mercy of servitude rather than extinction." Maya's response was to eject the spent magazine from her rifle with a metallic click that echoed through the sudden silence. The alien general's mandibles twitched in what might have been confusion. "Is that your answer?" Zalthor demanded, his voice rising. "Do you mock me, human?" She slammed a fresh magazine home, the sound sharp and definitive. Then, for the first time since the transmission began, Captain Maya Torres smiled. It wasn't a pleasant smile. It was the smile of someone who knew something the other party didn't. "General," she said, her voice steady despite the exhaustion that weighed on every syllable. "Let me tell you something about humans. We're really, really good at 2 things: adapting and being absolutely spite-driven stubborn when someone tells us we can't do something." Zalthor's hologram flickered with what the translation software interpreted as irritation. "Your bravado is—" "3 days ago," Maya interrupted, "your fleet arrived in our system. You had superior numbers, superior technology, and you'd conquered 17 species before us. You expected us to fold like all the others." She began walking slowly around the projection, her boots grinding against debris. "But here's what you didn't account for, General. Those 17 species, they were all more advanced than us. They had energy shields, plasma weapons, quantum drives. They thought like you did. That war was about technological superiority." She stopped, meeting his alien gaze directly. "Humans? We've been killing each other with sticks and rocks for millennia. We perfected warfare when our most advanced technology was a sharpened stone. We've been through world wars, cold wars, proxy wars, and wars we fought just because we were bored. We've obliterated cities, starved armies, and turned entire landscapes into meat grinders. War isn't something we learned from a manual, General. It's in our DNA." The alien general's posture shifted slightly. "Your primitive history means nothing against—" "You know what happened after your orbital bombardment knocked out our power grid?" Maya continued, her smile widening. "We went analog. You know what happened when you jammed our digital communications? We used runners, signal flags, and hardwired telephone lines from a century ago. You destroyed our drone factories. We strapped explosives to remote control cars and sent them at your positions. You adapted your shields against our plasma weapons. We switched back to kinetic rounds, bullets, General. Simple, stupid 100-year-old bullets that your superior technology hadn't even considered worth defending against." She chambered around, the mechanical action punctuating her words. "Right now, while you're talking to me, my people aren't cowering in these bunkers. They're setting traps using techniques we developed in wars you've never even heard of. Punji sticks, IEDs. Snipers using rifles that would be museum pieces on your worlds. We've got teenagers with hunting experience taking out your scouts. We've got grandmothers building Molotov cocktails in their kitchens. We've got engineers turning our subway systems into kill zones that would make the tunnels of Kuchai look like a playground." Zalthor's image flickered, and Maya caught the telltale signs of uncertainty in his alien features. "You cannot possibly. In the last 72 hours, your forces have suffered 23% casualties in what you thought would be a mopping-up operation. You're stuck in urban warfare, something you've never experienced because every other species you conquered either lived in orbital habitats or surrendered their cities intact. But humans? We've been fighting in cities since cities were invented. Stalingrad, Mogadishu, Fallujah, Aleppo. We've written entire military doctrines on urban combat, General. This is our element." She leaned forward, her voice dropping to something cold and hard. "And here's the part that should really scare you. You came to Earth thinking you'd face a united planetary defense force with standardized tactics and equipment. Instead, you're fighting hundreds of different military traditions, each one refined through centuries of conflict. You're fighting guerrilla fighters who learned tactics fighting insurgencies on 6 continents. You're fighting soldiers who studied every military defeat in human history, just so they'd know what not to do. You're fighting a species that literally wrote books titled The Art of War, thousands of years before we even left our planet. The hologram wavered as distant explosions rocked the Kryn command ship. Maya's smile turned predatory. That's not your orbital defenses failing, General. That's the boarding parties we sent up 3 hours ago using captured Kryn shuttles. They're armed with shotguns, breaching charges, and a truly human level of aggressive creativity. See, while you were busy being honorable and giving me a chance to surrender, my people were busy doing what humans do best, finding a way to hurt you back. Zalthor's 4 eyes widened in what could only be shock. Impossible. Our security was designed to stop sophisticated cyber attacks and advanced military tactics, Maya finished. Not boarding axes and frag grenades. Sometimes, General, the old ways work best. She raised her rifle, pointing it casually at the hologram. So here's my offer. You have 2 minutes to begin retreat protocols before my people blow your command deck. You can run back to your Dominion and tell them that Earth is off limits. Tell them humans are crazy. Tell them we fight with ancient weapons and refuse to die with dignity. Tell them whatever you want. The smile disappeared, replaced by cold steel. Or you can stay and learn exactly why the scariest thing in this galaxy isn't the species with the biggest guns or the fastest ships. It's the species that never learned how to quit. General Zalthor stared at her for a long moment. Then, without another word, his hologram winked out. 2 minutes later, the Kryn fleet began its jump to hyperspace, leaving Earth's orbit for the first time in 3 days. Captain Maya Torres set her rifle down and allowed herself 1 moment of exhaustion before keying her comm. All units, the enemy is retreating. Well done, people. Well done. She looked up at the sky through the bunker's shattered ceiling, where the stars were becoming visible again as the alien ships departed, and allowed herself a real smile this time. Humans, she thought, were indeed very good at 2 things, and the galaxy had just learned about both of them the hard way.